Hi guys, it's Stacy and I'm back with a Saturday morning makes. Say that 3 times fast, huh? It's been one of those mornings. Today I did fake bake ornaments and I did some gingerbread and I did some little marshmallow snowmen. So I went ahead and used this cookie cutter set. I believe this was from Walmart. It came in a pack of 2. It's like this. You're going to need some sort of rolling pin. I used Model Magic. I think that's what it's called. This Crayola Model Magic. Let's see if I can get that. And this is the big pack, I believe. There's 4 things of 8. So it comes in this tub like this with 4 of a minute for individual, which is nice because then you don't have to worry about one package drying out if you don't use it all up right away. But I just kept, this is what I have left from the ornaments I'm going to show you from one package, and I believe this was it's 8 ounces. It was like this, and this is what I have left. And this is quite a bit still here. I could probably get 2 to 3 ornaments, maybe more. So there's that. You're going to need some sort of rolling pin. I have this, which was from polymer clay. Whatever cookie cutters, cutting instruments you need. I used just these pearls for their eyes, and I just colored them in with a black Copic marker, which is the 100. I have some little marshmallows left. Aren't these cute? Look how real they look. Oh my gosh. And these itty bitties. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Here, let me turn on this other light. Maybe that'll help. They're so cute. They remind me of like the little tiny marshmallows that you get in the hot cocoa mix. So there's that. I believe this was the first one I made. Oh, I also used just this wire. I didn't have, it's beading wire. You could probably use whatever you want to make this hook up top. I can imagine that you could even super glue a bow, like a ribbon on there. However, I just took a little jewelry pliers and bent it over and then twisted the end and put glue and stuck it in there while the dough was still wet. And you're also going to need some sort of paint, which I used the puffy paint for the chocolate drizzle and put some sprinkles. Those are just recollections. And there's some of these. So he's a little scuffed up. All this was perfectly clean, but when it dried, there must have been little bits in it. But I don't think it'll show up on the Christmas tree. I'm not too worried about it. I may be putting a mouth on it. I don't know. But there's the chocolate all melted. And if you stick when you make the marshmallows and stick them together, if you do it while the dough's wet, you don't need glue. And then I actually colored, I'm not going to have the exact ink, but I colored the cheeks with spun sugar distress ink. That's how I colored this dough. I just used the white dough. So there's that one. And then this one, I didn't put any glitter on this one. I kind of like it without the glitter, but I bet you on the tree it'll be really pretty to have the lights hit the glitter. So I used this, it's that Recollections little polymer clay peppermint candy mix with sprinkles. And I used some bigger pearls that I colored for this one because I made this one a tiny bit bigger. Same thing with the hook. And then I took the chocolate and I drizzled, and it kind of went down in its eyes, unlike this one. And I like this one almost better because it reminds me of, I don't know, like what chocolate would really do. So there's that one. Then I decided, let's see, then I made this little gingy as a test with this little gingerbread cookie cutter. Right? So I colored this dough with ink, Distress ink. Different colors. I couldn't tell you the mixture, but there were quite a few different mixes in there. So, oops. This little Gingy was my test, and then I colored this. This is that dough. Same, the Model Magic. And I used the spun sugar. These are little clay polymer hearts. Same thing as the Recollections. And the cheeks were done the same way, and I just did the smaller pearls. That's why I was using these purple ones. And so it didn't really matter whether they were regular pearls or not. I mean, if you have these already, but I colored them. So that's what I used for the eyes, and then I put this other pink on while it was still wet, and it stuck to itself, and it doesn't come off. Did the hook in it while it was still wet, too. And I used, for the hooks, I put a tiny bit of art glitter glue. I know that if you let this stuff dry, I've seen other people talk about using super glue, because, like, hot glue, I guess, peels off of it, because this is foam. I mean, it literally is like super thick foam. But this one doesn't really have any flex left to it. But there's a little Gingy. And then, so I decided to use what the dough was left over, because it wasn't big enough. I didn't have enough left for this big cookie cutter yet. Well, that's coming. So the same thing with this one. I did the marshmallows, and then I smushed it, and I kind of made a piece, and then I blended them together. And if you put water, you can blend it together. So I used the base here to make a cookie and put little texture in it with a stippling brush, and used my pokey tool to make crevices in the cookie, which you could really see prior to me putting all the marshmallow on it. But then I took this marshmallow, smushed it, blended these sides together, and then attached this one. Did the cheeks, the top, everything the same way. But then I took the end of a paintbrush and dipped it in some black acrylic paint to make the mouth, because I wanted it to look like, oh no, I'm melting. And I love how the drips kind of carried down and went much further, because that's what would happen if she got put in the oven, right? So, don't know how to show it to the camera. Then the last one I made was the big Gingy, right? Now this one I did with a bunch of different Distress inks, all different colors. As you can see, it's a tiny bit different. Now that it's dry, it doesn't show up, but this one's a little bit lighter. And I used the big cookie cutter. And I had made these marshmallows, all those little marshmallows I showed in the beginning, and I made those like the buttons. And I had some different buttons, and I just snipped the backs off, and I glued those to it. Then I stuck these on. These were dry, but the dough was still wet, so it stuck to it. Same thing, dough was still wet when I put these to it, but if it came off, I was just going to use super glue. This was wet. I colored it the same way with Distress ink. Just added more. The more you put, the darker it gets. And I used the same pearls, colored them in, made it the eyes, stuck the hook in the top. This one's a little thin. If I had to do this again, I would make this a tiny bit thicker. But like I said, this is dough. It's flexible right now because it's so thin. But I think it'll harden up a bit more because this was super flexible in the beginning. This has been curing for a couple of days now. And you got to be careful. These all didn't have spots on them, but if you look real close, the mouth has a spot that I tried to pick out, but I'm just going to paint over it, I think, or I'm just going to leave it, not going to see it on the tree. There's little imperfections, and if you use the Distress ink instead of paint to color your dough, your Model Magic, I think that's what it's called, and you use this puffy paint, like I use white for the frosting, because Distress inks are reactive with water, it picked it up. It doesn't bother me, but that's what's going to happen. I think it's cute. I'm super, super proud of these. I think they're adorable. And I plan on making some more. I want to make them and personalize them with the names of my children, my grandson, and with the year. And I think it could be really cute. And I want to make some more like this, but I'm going to make it and then take all these. I'm going to make little baby ones piled, and like they're melting with little, oh, mouths too. like little snowball stacked marshmallow babies. I think it would be cute. But that's my Saturday morning makes. I hope you like it. If you want me to do a tutorial on how to do these, because they're so simple, I can do that. They're super simple to make. If you want me to do that, I could do a quick tutorial because it won't require any editing. But there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. I watched a bunch myself. I'll try. There's a couple of channels that I know that were more helpful than others. I watched so many I can't go back and give credit to all. If you just search fake Model Magic, there's so many. But I'll link the top 2 I watched, because there was one gal, I think it was like Peep This, and there was another gal that had something very similar that gave me the idea, but she just did plain marshmallows. So if I can find those, I will link them. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. I know next Saturday, is the day before Christmas Eve? So or is it Christmas Eve? So I don't know if I'll be putting anything up. I bet you a bunch of people are going to be taking a break. I might, because my son's going to be home, and so I may have time to craft. So everybody, if I don't see you before Christmas, happy holidays. I hope you enjoy your time with your family. I'm going to link Jill Norwood's information for the open collab for Saturday morning makes. If you're here, you already know who Jill is, but I'm going to link it below because it's open to everybody. I'll link all the information. Okay, bye. Everybody have a wonderful holiday. Bye.